Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. Today's episode I'm going to show you how to clean your sump quick and easily like a pro. Alright, thank you for joining me on another episode of Parker's Reefs, and this one I hope will help a lot of people out there because it's a question I've had probably a dozen times in the last 2 to 3 months, and I must admit it was something I thought everyone knew. My bad, it's obviously not something everyone knows. It's one of those things everyone should know, and that is how to get detritus out of your sump. Obviously, sumps are normally on ground level and it's quite difficult to get a siphon going to get all that detritus out, and if you try to use a pump, things tend to get clogged up. All in all, it becomes a really difficult process, and realistically, it's something we need to try and do every couple of months. You want to keep that sump free of detritus, make sure it's nice and clean so you don't have just organics rotting away down there. Now, this might seem obvious, but the best way to do this is with a wet dry vac, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy. I've been using a $30 wet dry vac that I bought from Bunnings about 4 or 5 years ago. And realistically, it shouldn't do the job. It's got a steel body. It's starting to rust, but it still works an absolute treat. Now, I have seen some really fancy plastic body ones out there that cost a bit more. By all means, if you have the means, treat yourself, but realistically, any wet dry vac will do. Now, probably the best way to show you how to do this is to go into my fish room. I'll show you on my Cade frag tank now. I'm about to clean the sump. Let's go get into it. All right, so we're at the sump. I've taken the doors off just to make it a little bit easier in here with the camera and all the equipment. Other couple of things I've done is I've got some towels down, just some old cheap pet towels. I've got a couple of buckets, and just before I turn the equipment off, what I'm going to do is fill one of these buckets up. Well, at least get a bit of water in there. Because what I'll do is I'll use that to put the media. I'll put that in there just to keep it wet, and that will allow me to get the wet dry back in under that media so I can give it all a good clean, get all that detritus out. Now, we'll just see how we go for water because there's not a lot of water left in the system. It is running fairly low because I have still yet not set up the ATO. All right, now that I've got some water in this bucket, I'm going to turn the return pump off and also the heaters. Just because I forgot to mention before, I've also turned off the skimmer. Now we should be right to move out these containers. That keeps them fully submerged. I can give them a bit of a rustle about in there if I want to try and get any detritus out of there, but all in all, we're pretty well ready to grab the wet dry vac and give it a crack. If I did have any sort of build up on the glass, I'd grab my 3M eraser and wow, that makes a horrible noise. Just give the glass a bit of a clean before I start vacuuming the water out, but this system's pretty new, so I think we're good to go. All right, this here is my wet dry vac. You can see it's a cheap Ozito. It's a steel body one, which is obviously going to rust up really quickly, but full disclosure, I've been using this guy for like 4 years, and yeah, it's a bit rusty, but it still does the job. I've also fashioned up a little bit of a custom fitting on the end here just so I can get a real narrow bit into some gaps in the sump. That gives me plenty of room with the hose included, and I literally just sit it down where I want to pick up the detritus, switch it on. That is how quickly it fills up 20 litres worth of water. Because I do have the rusty drum version of the Ozito one rather than a plastic one, it does have a slight little leak down the bottom. So I'm going to get this drum out and empty it down, empty that water out before I make too much of a mess even on the towels. Then I'll be ready for round 2 to get the rest of the detritus. Quick little tip for those playing at home, I keep another bucket handy so I don't have to worry about unplugging it and taking the whole unit outside. I just lift the head off, put it in that bucket, then I can carry this bucket out, tip it down the drain. You can see the water there is pretty murky, and our sump section pretty clean. All right, this time I've removed the removable panel, this guy here, which is revealed quite a lot more detritus there we can clean up. I've got the wet dry vac ready to go. I've just brought the camera in a bit closer so you can have a good close look at how easily it picks it up. Let's get stuck into it. Easy as that. All right, we've got the last couple of bits now. There's a little bit right in this corner here. You can just see on camera there from the final of the media chambers. There's a little bit in the return pump section, which could be a little bit of a challenge to get to, but we'll see how we go. And last but not least, underneath the filter socks is a bit there. I'm gonna see if I can get this all in one drum's worth, so wish me luck. I think we're looking pretty good, but I've still got a bit of that drum left, and I want to put 3 buckets worth of water in here, so I might as well take a bit more out. I can see a little bit over in the corner here. I may as well take it. Alright, just to give you guys a little before and after, you can see the amount of detritus just sitting here next to the skimmer. You also had a quick glimpse at how much was underneath the media racks there. Quite a lot in the return section and just near the media blocks there. All in all, a pretty filthy sump. Now, we switched to the after video, and whilst I gotta say it's not perfectly clean, if I spent a few more buckets worth of water removal with the wet dry vac, I could get it perfectly clean. There's a bit in that corner there, but all in all, it is night and day difference. And the main thing was, it was really easy to do. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. I hope it was helpful for you. If you've never used a wet dry vac before, you won't know yourself after trying one out on your sump. It makes the job an absolute breeze. So hopefully you too will be cleaning your sump like a pro in no time flat. I will leave the video at that. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, anything at all, pop it in the comments section down below. I personally reply to each and every one. If you enjoyed the video and you learned something new, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you're yet to subscribe and you want to make sure you don't miss any future content like this one, hit that subscribe button in that bottom corner. It costs no money whatsoever and will help me out a lot on this journey. So I'd appreciate it if you could. Till next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, keep reefing. Bye.